music, and then we just get together and watch it together.
Everybody's watch is different. So I know it's like there's that clock, there's my watch, there's this. What do we use?
Good morning. First Parish Brewster, good morning. It's good to see so many of you here today on this second Sunday of the new year. Even though it's a drizzly morning, we're delighted that you're here. And folks, you who are joining us online today, we want to welcome you as well. So all of us here, let's give a warm wave of welcome to our friends joining us online today. So this church, our church, is a place dedicated to cultivating liberating love. As a community, we do this by living with mindful intention, practicing kindness, being present to one another, and serving needs greater than our own. I'm Rick Kuntz. I'm your worship leader today, and I'm delighted to be joined up here today by Margaret Rice Moyer. I'm also delighted to give a shout out to our wonderful music director here, Kaiza Fern. Don't we love Kaiza? And to Anna Smith, our marvelous CYM director, who you will see up here on stage in a bit. And to all of the other musicians and individuals taking part in today's service, including our greeters who welcomed you here this morning. If you are a visitor here today, we want to extend a special welcome to you. We'd love it if you would join us for coffee hour in the parish hall after the service so we can get to know you a bit better. And if you are new to Unitarian Universalism, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions. Just head to the library. It's across from the restrooms after grabbing a cup of coffee. Also, if you are a first-timer here, please fill out the rectangular welcome card in the pew so we can give you more information about First Parish and all of the fabulous things we do here. Finally, I'd like to offer a few announcements today. First of all, for those of you who are not yet conversant with Breeze, that's our online database of members, there will be one-on-one Breeze tutorials available in the parish room every coffee hour in January. Just look for the sign, come with your phone or computer, and our volunteers will get you up and running on Breeze. Anybody going to attend that? Anybody challenged in using Breeze a little bit? Okay, all right. All right, second here, Rick Francolini, a good friend of this church who, with his wife Joan, was responsible for organizing this year's first ever Lower Cape Pride event, has been undergoing chemotherapy treatment for cancer the last few weeks. Some of you may know that. He is scheduled to have surgery on the 23rd in Boston. It's esophageal cancer. I ask that you keep Rick and his family in your thoughts and hearts right now. He and his wife are strong allies of the LGBTQ plus community, and everybody who knows them knows that they bring a special spark every time they enter a room. So if you have a chance and want to reach out to Rick, I know he would enjoy hearing from you. Last announcement, it's that time of the year again, folks. The 2026 Gala Ball's coming up in a couple of weeks. How many are planning to go? Okay, it's just around the corner. It's going to be held on February 7th at the Margaritaville Resort in Hyannis. This year's ball is, Gloria and Linda, is it 26th, 27th? 26th, okay. So you're hearing from the founders right there. This year's ball is going to bring together members of the LGBTQ plus community, as well as their friends, family members, and allies. And it's a gathering for an evening of fellowship, dining, dancing, and community building. And this year, there's a special poignancy associated with it, because many folks in the LGBTQ plus community feel under attack right now for being who they are. We hope you will plan to attend. There's actually an opportunity to sign up for the ball. There's a link on the back of your program today. You can also find information about the ball out by looking on the First Parish Brewster website. So finally, as we get started this morning, I'm going to invite all of you to just get comfortable in your seats. Take a couple of deep breaths. Take out your cell phones and either silence them or turn them off. So with that, we'll settle in for some time together. And it's good that we are together on this Sunday. Wonderful. Good morning again. Wasn't that a lovely performance? What a rendition. Last week from this podium, Reverend Scott spoke about the importance of all of us being the intentional authors of our own lives, our life stories. He spoke too about the fact that when it comes to adding new chapters to our life stories, it's never too late, no matter our age or our circumstances. Today, in our service, we want to build on that theme with all of you by talking about the unique talents and gifts that each of us is born with. Our human talents and skills are often spoken of as things that we possess, abilities that we practice, refine, use, and take pride in. But from a spiritual perspective, I think it's important for us to understand our talents and gifts not as possessions, but as expressions of our unique humanity as individuals. They are the ways something deeper moves through each of us and becomes visible in the world. Each of us embodies a unique constellation of gifts. Some are obvious, others are quieter, but of equal consequence. The message that Margaret and I and others want to convey to you today is that your skills, your gifts, your talents are the manifestation of a unique universal force moving within you and through you. They are part of your story. Consider the musician who creates beauty that stirs the soul, the caregiver's patience that becomes a form of love, a speaker's words awaken hope, an engineer's vision creates a bridge to serve a community. In all these ways and countless others, our talents become acts of communion, connecting us to others and to something greater than ourselves. Neglecting our talents can cause them to languish. Misusing them can leave us empty, but honoring them with gratitude and purpose brings a quiet joy that feels spiritual. As Leo Buscaglia has said, quote, "Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God."
This morning's worship, led by Rick, seems to naturally dovetail with last week's sermon by Reverend Scott. The idea that we can begin anew, recreate ourselves again and again, no matter how familiar we've become with who we are and who we've been until this very moment. Whilst we live, all seeds can take root. We need to nourish them, pay attention to them. Each of us holds this ability, the capacity to step into the unknown. Inside us all is a magical looking glass, calling us to grow more, to explore something new, and to establish that lovely burnished patina that comes with age and use. Unitarian Universalists are not cowards. We have the courage and the history to be bold, to be prophetic, and to be creative. Let us not waste our time being stationary. What dreams do you carry? What new evolution whispers in your ear? Come, yet again, come. This morning, we light our chalice in honor of the things we've yet to do, the inner artist we carry inside us, and the soul work we can always make more room for. The individual passions and imaginations symbolic in this flame will strengthen our spirits for the grueling work before us. This has been a particularly painful week, and we must respond to events as best we can. For this, we must take good care of ourselves. In that way, and that way only, can we be the best and strongest force for good in the world. Thank you for lighting the chalice. I don't know what's next, because I don't have that. Oh,
So now we want you to greet one another.
yes. And you know how we do it. We, half of the congregation will stand and face the other half. Try to catch somebody's eye and show them how much you care. And we will do the,
Affirmation.
yeah, but which one do the, oh, but who says what? Okay, the italics, this side do the italics, this side do the non-italics.
You got that? Okay. We believe
Love is the doctrine of this congregation. I don't have the orders. Good. And remain standing, please, for
our greeting. It's time to greet one another. Yeah. So take a few minutes. We will let you know when we're reconvening.
I got to get in order.
That's it. Your reading was great. I hadn't seen
I
that.
sent it to you. I sent it to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was so busy this week. Put us on. Yeah, thank you. That was fun. So you'll do the offering next? So
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get it.
So
No, the
you'll
offer.
do-
This is all. Shall we get ready for him? Is it-
Morning, good morning. Let's sing together this morning. Turn to the gray hymnal, number 209 in the gray hymnal. O come, you longing, thirsty souls.
All right, you guys ready for the story? What do you think? Come on over. Come closer if you want. You ready? So, oh, you okay? Got it. Have you guys ever felt like you had somebody else had something you wanted? Maybe compare yourself. Say, hey, they have this cool new toy and I think it's cool and mine's just this little old toy. Or, gosh, that person I see in a movie, that looks so cool where they live and I live here. Although, people be jealous of that too, right? Do you ever feel that way? Maybe at school? Especially like at the holiday time, sometimes, like I remember as a kid sometimes comparing, right? Yeah. So with that in mind, I have a little story to tell you about a puppy dog. This dog, he had a bone, and he was so happy. He loved this bone, it was amazing, it was nice and big, and he was just a happy guy, right? And showing it to his other puppy friends and really excited. So then, one day he was walking around, it was raining, and he was walking down the road and he stopped short because he saw another dog. And this dog had a bone that was even bigger than his. It's like, that's not fair. Why does that dog have a bone that's bigger than my bone? I don't think that's okay. I want that bone. You ever feel that way? You're like, hey, I want to play with that. That looks cooler than what I have. Right? So he decided to grab the bone, let go of his bone, because you can't grab, the other bone if you have a bone in your mouth already, right? Can't do that. So he grabbed the other bone, let go of his bone and grabbed the other bone, but it wasn't there. He couldn't find it. What happened to the other dog? And the very large bone, it disappeared. What do you think happened? Maybe the other dog found it. Okay, that could be possible. Anybody else think maybe they know? Yes. Maybe the dog was inside. Is there another thing you think? Yes.
Maybe he ordered a dog. The dog had the bone, and then when he was thinking that he was going to grab the bone, the dog and the owner walked away.
Maybe. These are all very good guesses. What do you think, Mary? That's a good guess? All right. But guess what? There wasn't another dog. And there wasn't another bone. It was a reflection in a puddle on the ground. And because it was a reflection, that bone looked bigger than his. Isn't that crazy? So sometimes things aren't always the way they appear, are they? Yeah? All right, well, thank you so much for listening to my story today. And remember, right, our bones are just as good as anybody else's, aren't they?
This morning's offering is a split plate This morning's offering is a split plate with the Nauset Interfaith Association MLK Action Team, which is the racial justice arm of the Nauset Interfaith Association, whose mission is to address systemic racial injustice by educating ourselves and others and building transformative relationships. This organization was nominated by the Racial and Indigenous Justice Allies Task Force. Your offering will benefit this organization as well as First Parish Brewster. Remember to give generously if you are able. The work that we do assists justice outside the congregation and inside the congregation, now more than ever. Please give generously.
This is not a race. You don't have to run. You might even slow it down. Take a look around instead of chasing everyone. Nothing to prove, no point to make. If when it's said and done, you know in your heart that your song is sung. Don't go with your song still inside you. Let it guide you every day. We all know that it's good to be humble, but don't mumble your life away. You could lose it all. You would still feel like you won. You might fall out of the sky, learn to fly just by reaching for the sun. No need to fret about regret. If when it's said and done, you know in your heart that your song is sung. Don't go with your song still inside you. Let it guide you every day. We all know that it's good to be humble, but don't grumble your life away. I need a little teamwork here. La 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 la, la 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 la, lowly lowly low, lowly lowly low, la 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 la, la 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 la, lowly lowly low low, lowly lowly low low, rubbity scrub, rubbity scrub, hoppity hop up a dough, hoppity hop up a dough, hoobity 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 hum, hoobity 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 hum, hoobity 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 hum, hoobity 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 hum. Don't go with your song still inside you. Let it guide you every day. We all know that it's good to be humble, but don't fumble
Pivoting just slightly, please join with me in the spirit of prayer and meditation, followed by some shared quiet time. I invite you now to get comfortable in your seats, take note of your breathing, and ground yourself in this moment. Today we're here to talk about and celebrate our talents and gifts and how we can share them with one another. With that in mind, I want to share the following poem with you, The Unclaimed Gift by Susan Noyes Anderson. In this poem, the narrator, the speaker, can be construed to be God or what we might deem as our creator or higher power. Take a listen. I gave my friend a precious gift. She did not look inside. She did not lift the lid to find what treasures it might hide. Instead, she praised the ribbon and declared the wrapping fine. The color and the paper and the bow she called divine. She thanked me with exceeding grace, and quite pleased with herself, she carried it into her room and placed it on a shelf. Your gift I'll open one day soon, she promised me with a smile. But first I'll just enjoy its beauty for a little while. I visited her frequently, each day hoping to see some evidence that she'd unwrapped this precious gift from me. But there it sat upon the shelf, collecting dust each day. I could not bear to look at it, and finally stayed away. Time passed, and she forgot my gift. Unclaimed, its treasures hide. A gift is but an empty box if no one looks inside. The Spirit is a gift from God to dwell within our hearts. Receiving it means opening each gift that it imparts. If we confine the Spirit to a place on our heart shelves, we render God's gift empty and are left to bless ourselves. May the silence we have shared continue to hold and heal us all.
This reading by one of my very favorite poets, David Whyte, The Bell and the Blackbird. The sound of a bell still reverberating, or a blackbird calling from a corner of the field, asking you to wake into this life, or inviting you deeper into the one that waits. Either way takes courage. Either way wants you to be nothing but that self that is no self at all. Wants you to walk to the place where you find you already know how to give every last thing away. The approach that is also the meeting itself, without any meeting at all. That radiance you have always carried with you as you walk, both alone and completely accompanied in friendship by every corner of the world, crying, Alleluia!
Do you remember your first time? No, I'm not talking about your first date, your first kiss, or your first crush. I am talking instead about the first time you felt passion and excitement about an idea, an interest, an intensity of feeling so strong that it bordered on obsession. A passion that consumed your thoughts, transported you to other worlds, and made you want to risk everything to chase some wild dream and make that dream come true. I remember one of my first times feeling passion like that, probably fueled by a little bit of teenage hormones. So it was 1968, I was in 8th grade, the war in Vietnam was raging, and I had discovered a new show on TV called Star Trek. Okay, Scott, you with me on that? Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe you've heard of this show, yeah? It's about this warp-powered starship on a 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one had gone before. I can still hear William Shatner's voiceover when I was 16 years old, watching and taking in every moment. I was passionate about this show. I grew up in the early 1960s during the early days of the space program. So, like a lot of kids of that era, I dreamt of being an astronaut. I had a passion to go into space. And by 8th grade or so, thanks to Star Trek, Captain Kirk, and the crew of the Starship Enterprise, I was certain, folks, I was absolutely certain I was going to command a starship someday, okay? I was going to explore the galaxy, make friends with aliens, and make the universe a safer place for everybody. Okay. I remember attending a Star Trek convention, one of the very first ever in New York City. It was 1969, and it was at the New York Hilton, which even then I thought was, it was kind of run down. But it was a wonderful event. Shatner was there, Mr. Spock. But I actually met an astronaut, and I continued to think after meeting him, boy, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And then I began to look at my math scores and my science scores, and it's another story. So time passes, and I never did complete the forms for Starfleet Academy. I think they just must have gotten lost in the mail, along with my very low SAT scores in math. But I did latch on to another passion, something I knew I wanted to do as a career when I grew up, and this time the passion stuck. At age 16, I decided that I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, and specifically an anchorman like Walter Cronkite. Now at the time, Cronkite, many of you will remember this, he was touted as the most trusted person in America. I worshiped this guy, and by the age of 16, I was a full-blown newsie. A nerdy kid who watched the CBS Evening News every night and read Hugh Sidey's column on the presidency in Time magazine every week, right? Anyway, I got totally swept up in my passion to be a broadcast journalist, so much so that when I was a sophomore in high school, I don't know how I did this, but I managed to talk my way into the CBS Broadcast Center in New York City, and there I had a chance to meet Cronkite and spend some time with him. Now, you couldn't do this today, but I distinctly remember walking into Cronkite's office. It was the week before Christmas, 1969. I'm 16, okay, and he's got models of Apollo and Mercury and Gemini spaceships hanging from his ceiling. I thought, that's interesting. I said to him, I want to have your job someday, Mr. Cronkite. And, he smiled back at me and responded in that lovely baritone voice that we all remember, well, get a good journalistic education. I don't do the greatest Cronkite impression, but that day I met my hero, my rock star, a man who in my 16-year-old mind embodied both charisma and gravitas. I left that meeting with Cronkite with three things: inspiration, an autograph, and a copy of that night's teleprompter script, which I still have at home, back in the days when they ran them on sprockets of which paper. So as a result of that encounter with Cronkite, broadcast journalism became my professional passion and career for a number of years when I was a young adult. I loved my work in various radio and TV markets. I met all kinds of people I wouldn't have met otherwise. And along the way, I discovered related passions that I enjoyed as well: interviewing, writing, and eventually becoming a commentator on public radio. Experiences I treasure having had when I was younger. And now, for the last 25 years or so, I've had another professional passion. As some of you know, I work in the field of leadership coaching and executive development. I have the privilege of working with senior leaders all over the world, helping them grow as leaders and accompanying them on their leadership development journeys. This work is my passion. I love doing it. My mother, who was a French teacher, would have said, this is my métier. It's something that brings me great joy. It's like music to me, and I believe I'm in the right place when I'm doing it. So, my friends, what's your passion? What do you feel drawn to do or to be at this point in your life? Is it career and work-related? I know many of us here are retired, so maybe your passion, your quest these days is more personal, more spiritual, and reflective in nature. Passions, I believe, are the gateway to us understanding our deepest ambitions, desires, and dreams, and discovering our true purpose and calling in this world. To me, passions are like a flame that burns above the ground for all to see, suggesting a source of energy and potentiality deep beneath it. Do you have a passion, a calling in you that you've never really listened to? Maybe you dream of writing a book of poetry someday, or of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, or getting involved in a local community theater troupe here on Cape Cod. Maybe your desire is to become an expert on the history of the Wampanoag, or a museum docent, or a social justice advocate for immigrants. Maybe your deepest desire is a little bit closer to home. Maybe your goal is to be the best grandmother or grandfather you can look to be to your grandkids. Or maybe your dream is to take a painting class, write music, publish that racy novel you've been telling your friends for 40 years you're going to write. Or maybe it's simply to share your unique talents, your gifts, with the rest of us in this sacred space each week. Now, speaking of that, when I look around this sanctuary on Sundays, I see a lot of us doing just that. We're pursuing our passions and we're sharing our gifts with each other. Every time I hear our choir perform, for example, I see a sea of happy faces and sonorous voices. And then, of course, there's Kaiza. Where are you, Kaiza? Yeah, there you are. Okay. All right. Kaiza, you bring such passion, versatility, warmth, and artistry to your musical leadership of all of us. I can tell that what you do with us each Sunday brings you great joy, as it does us. Others of you who I've gotten to know in my time here at First Parish display other wonderful gifts and passions. Rod Smith, I know you love getting up early each morning to muse, to write, to walk the dog, and to continue work on your wonderful book series, okay? Margaret, I know you're a book author as well. She has a book pending. She has a book in the works, so more to come about that at some point. Kip Keene, I see you in the back there. Your artistry and creativity are on full display right now as we work on artwork and graphics for the Gala Ball, huh? Maureen and Topper, your commitment to your music is wonderful to see, whether it's here in church or when you're performing with your band. By the way, have you all seen them perform with their band elsewhere? Yeah, okay. So anyway, talents on parade and on display. And finally, what about the wonderful talents we saw on display just now in the Wabi Sabi Movement Choir? How moving to see the synchronized talent of so many passionate dancers setting the stage for our service today with their fluid, artistic, and kinesthetic rendering of Amazing Grace. Yes, in this church, you can see people's passions and gifts on display every week. Over the years, I've had lots of opportunities to observe the skills, talents, gifts, and passions in people I've known, worked with, and coached. I've always felt that a person's talents and the existential longings and passions that go with them are a deep reflection of their spirituality and what they're meant to do in this world. This preoccupation, I think, for me, dates back to my days when I was a full-time career coach, when I was helping people to navigate passages of unemployment, uncertainty, job loss, or career transition. There were two things that I learned from that experience, and they were these. First, every human being, every one of us has unique skills, talents, and gifts, which I believe are given to us at birth. Second, a lot of us don't realize or fully actualize the gifts we are given by our Creator. We either don't see them, don't value them, don't think they're practical to apply, or we were never affirmed for having them by an employer, a parent, a teacher, or someone else. So sometimes people stifle themselves. They pack away their dreams, or they bury their ambitions and passions deep inside them, fearful to ever let them out. Now, ironically, sometimes a person's awareness of and appreciation for their own most authentic gifts only emerges when they go through the pain of a job loss, a life transition of some kind, or they have a personal epiphany. I've seen this happen many, many times when I've been coaching somebody who's in transition and doesn't quite know what turn in the fork to take coming up next. Just recently, I was talking with a young man I first met when he was a starving actor doing community theater in Philadelphia. We had taken a scene study class together at the Walnut Street Theater some years before, and one day over lunch, he told me that he was tired of being a chronically starving actor and was thinking of pursuing a business career instead. So he applied to business school, got an MBA, and worked as a business consultant for several years. But eventually, he found he didn't really like the work, even though it paid a lot better than acting, right? And he didn't want to continue on that path. So fast forward to today. He got all this training, he did all this work. What do you think he's doing today? He is. He's back auditioning for acting jobs and pursuing a Master of Fine Arts degree, and probably making about a fourth of what he was making a few years ago. But he listened to his heart. He discovered that he still has a passion for the theater, for acting, singing, dancing, and performing on stage. So my question to you is, do you have music in you, a passion in you that has never been on stage, that has never been given the full light of day, the chance to express itself? Bottom line, is there an artist, musician, master sommelier, poet, writer, or engineer hiding in you that you've always kept strictly under wraps? I believe it's never too late for any of us to discover new things about ourselves, to develop new passions and interests, and to find ways to share our gifts and talents with others. We simply need to give ourselves permission to explore our deepest ambitions, dreams, and longings. We need to stay curious about the world and ourselves. And yes, we do need to find ways, I think, to use our talents and passions in service to others. But service can mean a lot of things and can be a joyous experience in itself. In his sermon last week, Reverend Scott spoke about a number of famous people who discovered deep passions and purpose only after they were well into middle age or even older. Grandma Moses and Colonel Sanders being two of those. Yeah. The speaker and self-improvement expert Wayne Dyer, author of The Power of Intention, says that our fulfillment and happiness in this life doesn't come from acquiring stuff or racking up accomplishments on our resume. Instead, it comes from being true to ourselves, listening to our hearts, and finding authentic ways to be of service to others. When we do that, Dyer says, we align our gifts with the needs of the universe and with the cosmic force that created us and surrounds us. Again, we align our gifts with the needs of the universe and with the cosmic force that created us and sustains us. Author Brené Brown is another who talks about ways we can align ourselves with the intentions of the universe. In her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, anybody here read The Gifts of Imperfection? It's a lovely read. She encourages us to let go of who we think we are or who we think we should be, and to embrace our truest selves with all our imperfections, contradictions, talents, and vulnerability. When we do that, she says, we manifest authenticity, courage, compassion, and most important, connection with others with whom we share a common humanity. You know, it's notable that across virtually all religious traditions, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, indigenous, and others, there's a shared belief that every human being arrives with something sacred woven into their heart. Personally, I don't believe that the universe distributes these gifts at random. I believe God puts them in our hearts, and to me, they're manifestations of a larger intelligence, a creative source and intention that delights in our human diversity. In the Christian tradition, the Apostle Paul writes that, quote, there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. In the Jewish mystical tradition, the concept of tikkun olam teaches that every person has a unique piece of the world to repair, something only they can mend because of their specific strengths and temperament. The Buddhists speak of one's right livelihood, the idea that living one's vocation with presence and compassion is a spiritual practice in itself. And indigenous wisdom often emphasizes that each member of a community has a role gifted to them by the Creator, which they are to exercise to ensure the flourishing of the whole. What all of these observations say to me is this: our talents aren't simply our abilities, our skills. They are, in fact, folks, our spiritual signatures. I believe that your strengths and gifts and mine become the channels through which we offer love, wisdom, creativity, intelligence, and healing to the world. I believe that when we embrace our gifts, we honor the source from which they came. And conversely, when we recognize and honor the gifts of others, especially those with gifts different from our own, we practice humility and gratitude. In the end, then, spirituality is not just something we embody or believe in, it's something we express and share. So, again, I ask all of you, do you have a buried talent or passion in you, some unplayed music that you want to share with the world or with yourself? If so, how do you unearth it, claim it, and share it with other people? Very briefly, I want to share 3 things with you that I think you can do inwardly and reflectively to do a little self-exploration on this topic. First, I'll offer this. In my work as an executive and life coach, I often introduce people to the kaleidoscope strategy. It's a life work planning framework that anyone can use to reflect on and assess different priorities in their life at any point in their life. At its heart, the kaleidoscope strategy suggests that living fully and with clear intention involves paying attention to 4 key desires in one's life. One's desire for achievement and success, and for happiness, and for significance, and for legacy. Early in their career, for example, a young professional might focus most of their time and energy on professional achievement. But then at some point, they ask the question, Jesus, this all there is? Which is when the longing for happiness and work-life balance, by the way, comes into play. But even after finding personal happiness, for many people that isn't enough, and they become restless for something more. That's when the idea of living a significant life comes into play, being of service to others. This is the life stage of generativity, of giving back, that was made famous by psychologist Erik Erikson. Finally, beyond the concept of living a significant life lies the concept of legacy, which is about building something that endures beyond you and your life, and which memorializes your values and intentions to others. As you all reflect on your own lives right now, I think the Kaleidoscope framework is a powerful and wonderful tool with which you might consider your own choices and where you're going next. It's a great tool for personal reflection, for values clarification, and long-term life, work, and retirement planning. A second framework that's often useful to embrace in searching for meaning and happiness in one's life is the Japanese concept of ikigai. Is anybody here familiar with ikigai? Have you heard of it? Oh, a few names. It's becoming quite popular in the West. Roughly translated, ikigai means one's reason for being. And according to this framework, one's ikigai is to be found at the intersection of 4 essential things. 1, what you love to do. 2, what you're good at. 3, what the world needs. And 4, what you can be paid for or what sustains you. Now, the framework suggests that where these 4 elements overlap is where you'll find your spiritual sweet spot or your fullest self-actualization, as the psychologist Abraham Maslow might have put it. Ikigai teaches that happiness is not a momentary feeling, but a daily practice of being present to oneself, to others, and to living in alignment with your purpose. Alignment, there's that word again. Finally, still one more thing to think about or embrace as you think about how to find happiness and share your talents with others is to study a model of gifting and reciprocity that we see in nature. In her wonderful little book, The Service Berry, Robin Wall Kimmerer. Has anybody read this book? This is a great read for the naturalists and environmentalists among us. In this book, Kimmerer describes what she calls the gift economy that we see in the natural world around us. Now, the gift economy is not based on commerce, materialism, competition, transactions, or acquisitions, she says, but instead on interconnectedness, reciprocity, and gratitude. A tiny yet potent fruit, the service berry's relationship with the natural world around it is an embodiment of interconnection and gratitude, says Kimmerer. A service berry tree distributes its wealth, its abundance of sweet, juicy berries, and in so doing meets the needs of its co-inhabitants in the natural community, the birds, the insects, the worms, and microorganisms that co-populate the same ecosystem. In turn, the service berry not only survives, but thrives in harmony, alignment, and peaceful coexistence with its fellow creatures. Serviceberry, says Kimmerer, show us a model of living and sharing of gifts with others based on reciprocity and gratitude, where wealth, security, and fulfillment come from acts of giving and the mutual dependence among parties, not from hoarding what one has or pretending to be an island of self-sufficiency. I happen to think Kimmerer's model of gift giving and gift receiving is one that each of us might consider embracing as we go about living our lives, thinking about how to be of service to others, how to share our talents and gifts with others, and how to be nourished by others in so doing. So, my friends, 3 tools that may be valuable for you to employ in your own search and pursuit of happiness, your pursuit of your spiritual and truly authentic self, or as you seek to discover and express the music, maybe new music in you. As I wrap up my remarks today, let me just say this. Wherever you feel yourself to be on your life and spirit journey, listen closely and intuitively to your heart. Whatever your age, whatever your life situation, if there's something you've always had a hankering to do but have never done it, do it now. If there's a secret passion or gift in you that you don't express or share with others very much, honor it by embracing it, expressing it, and sharing it with those around you, especially those you love. Most of all, honor and acknowledge the gifts and talents that were placed in you, that reside in you. To pick up on a theme that Scott shared with us last week, listening to yourself right now, reflecting deeply and inwardly, might well lead you to write a few new chapters in the novel of your life. So seize this day, and to quote the words of Wayne Dyer, don't die with your music still in you. For today, folks, is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Amen.
Let's join together in our closing hymn. It's from the Gray Hymnal, number 6, Just As Long As I Have Breath. Please rise in body or spirit.
As we come together in our close, let us listen to these words. Love holds you. Love bears witness to all your inherent dignity and worthiness. It witnesses how you try, succeed, and fail, and it does not flinch. Love will not let go,
Love holds all of us.
Whatever we can do or dream, we can do. So let's do it. Boldness has genius and magic and power in it. May you ever be bold in your living and your loving. Amen.
All right.